Hey guys, Mr. Patak here. In this video I'm going to be showing you guys an online Latin dictionary that you guys can use while we're doing distance learning away from school. So obviously not everybody has a dictionary at home that they can just go through. Not everybody has their materials with them. And I said that everything I give you while we're doing distance learning can be completed just with what I give you. You don't need your Latin materials. So in order to do that, you're going to have to learn how to use an online Latin dictionary. We're going to be using something called Wiktionary. Wiktionary is an online dictionary that's very simple to use. It gives you all the information that you need, and it's my recommended dictionary to use. There are, of course, a lot of dictionaries online. I don't recommend that you use other ones besides Wiktionary, mostly because they're usually pretty complicated to use. They give you too much information or information that you don't need. I like this one because it's really simple. So I'm going to show you how to use it, and whenever you run into a word you don't know while we're doing distance learning, I want you to type it into this dictionary and then you can find the meaning. So Wiktionary is the website. This is the URL. You just type that into the URL bar in your internet browser, or you can just Google Wiktionary, or you can go to our Google Classroom and just find the link which will be posted there and click on it. So let's say I'm reading an assignment that that you gave me, Mr. Patak, and there's a word in it I don't know. So let's say I'm reading this little section here from Minimus, and I run into this word, annulus. Let's go with the red pen. I run in this word, annulus, and I'm like, I have no idea what that word means. Well, let's go to our website, Wiktionary, and figure out what it means. So this here is Wiktionary. On the front page, there are two boxes that you can type your word in. It doesn't really matter, but you should use this box here. There is a reason for that, although it will take you to the same page. So let's say I want to figure out what that word I didn't know meant. Annulus, A-N-U-L-U-S. Hit enter. You don't click on any of these things. Just type in your word and click enter. Okay, so it takes me to a page like this. I have the word Latin right here. I have all of this random information, and right here is where your definition is going to be. So I can see that annulus means a ring, especially a finger ring. Sometimes it can mean something called a signet ring. So there is a lot of information on this page that you probably don't need. You have like alternate forms, etymology, pronunciation. I just kind of want you to ignore that because it's too advanced for what we need. There's a section down here called declension. If you want, you can use this. You notice how the Latin word changes its ending: annulus, annuli, annulo, annulum, annulo, and so on. It's a little bit advanced for the classes that I'm making this video for, but that is something we will learn eventually. Latin words change their endings. But really what I care about is the meaning right now, which is right here, and that's what you need. So let me show you a couple more examples. Let's say I'm reading and I run into a word that has a special ending on it. Let's say I'm reading this section and I find the word coronam. How appropriate that word is for current times. So let me type that in and show you what pops up in Wiktionary. Spell it exactly as it appears. C-O-R-O-N-A-M. If you misspell it, you can run into big errors. So C-O-R-O-N-A-M. Enter. Okay, so if your word has a special ending, there's an extra step. There's no definition here. How am I supposed to know what the word means? Well, I've got my word Latin, I've got noun, I've got coronam, which is the word I typed in, and then I've got this here, accusative singular of corona. When you get something like this, just click on this. Always click on the last part. Basically, it's saying when you typed in coronam, Wiktionary is saying, oh, this word has a special ending, and it's going to give you the special ending form. But it won't give you the meaning for the special ending form because the meaning is based off of the regular form, which is corona. So whenever this happens, just click on the end word and it will take you to the meaning. Let's click on that. Okay, so here we have our meaning. We have not Spanish. Where did Latin go? There we are. Latin, blah, 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 stuff I told you to ignore. So now we have the definition. We have garland, we have crown, which is the one I've seen used most, chaplet, laurel, or wreath, circle sometimes. So the reason it gives you all of these different definitions is because the word corona can be used to mean any of these things. It just depends on the context of the word. So now you have your definition of corona. Probably, well, in this one here, well, it's a wreath actually, corona. So now you can maybe translate, maybe you didn't know what portat was and you had to type that in, but the sentence means Barates is carrying a wreath. All right, so if you type in a word with a special ending, you have an extra step. Very simple, just click on the ending, or on the end. Okay, now I'm going to show you this word est. Let's say I didn't know what est meant. And something different is going to pop up with our Wiktionary. So let's go back to the top, type in EST, and hit enter. Okay, so now what pops up is there's this big list here. It says English and a lot of info, Catalan and a lot of info, Cornish and a lot of info, and so on. Where is Latin? Well, again, what happened when you typed est in here and hit search, Wiktionary is not just for Latin. Wiktionary does basically every language that you can think of. And so what it's saying is, you know, there's this word est does exist in English, it does exist in Catalan, it does exist in Cornish, and then it will tell you the definitions. So whenever this happens, you want to skip over English, Catalan, Cornish, unless you're curious and want to know what that means, and you want to find Latin. Latin's down here. Click on Latin, and it will take you to the definition of Latin. I can't click because I'm drawing right now. So click on Latin, and okay, so here it says, sorry, just lost it again. There we go, Latin. So here it says verb, est, blah, 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 blah. And remember, I told you when this pops up, you click on this ending here. Although this one's a little bit nicer about it. It does actually give us a definition. Marcus agricula est. Marcus is a farmer, so est is. Or it can also be he is. Est senex, he is old. Or it can also be there is. Est puella in via, there is a girl in the villa. So let's see what this is here. Sometimes you got to be careful because there's a same word est that is something different. It's something eating. You don't want this. So be careful sometimes because you might run into two different Latin words that have the same spelling but mean different things, and you'll have to figure out which one it is. In this one here, probably it means is instead of eating. So you want the first one. Let's click on Zoom and see where it takes us. I have to find my Latin again. There we are, Latin. So let's click on Zoom here and see where it takes us. All right, and this one's a bit of an odd word as well. So sorry, every time I push the pen, it takes me, like the page resets its position. But here's where we're like Latin. We clicked on Zoom. It would take me here. It means to be or to exist or to have. So This guy says, Quis Romanus sum, I am a Roman citizen, and so on. It gives you other examples as well, but the basic definition of the word sum is to be or exist. So for this one here, notice how it doesn't have the nice declension chart that we had for Annulus. This one has a different chart, which is a little bit bigger. This different chart, again, sorry, I pushed the pen button. It gives you the forms in a chart. Verb forms are a little bit different. We have sum, est, sumus, estis, sunt, and a million others. Again, this is a little bit advanced for us, so you don't really need it. What it is all of the different forms this word can possibly take. All right, so another thing. So when you type in a word like est, a bunch of different languages might show up. Always want to find Latin, of course. And last thing I think is it won't give you names. So let's type in Corinthus and see what happens. So going back all the way to the top, find your box again, type in Corinthus, enter. Okay, well it does give me Corinthus, but that is a city. Let's, instead of Corinthus, let's do Candidus. Actually, no, Candidus would pop in too. You know what? Let's do Rufus. I'm sorry. Let's do Rufus. R-U-F-U-S. Okay, so this is annoying me because it is actually giving me names. But it's not giving me the name itself. It's giving me the meaning behind the name. The meaning behind the name of Rufus is red or reddish. That's because he is actually a redhead. Normally, it wouldn't give you names. So this one, it is giving me names. Anyway, so I guess sometimes it will, but it will probably just try to give you the meaning behind the name. So to sum up real quick, website is Wiktionary. Just take a word and type it in. Look for the definition of the word. It will always be like in this section here. Ignore these parts unless you're really interested in them. A special ending, there's an extra step. Let's do a different word that has a special ending just as one more example. Portat, which we just saw there. And again, okay, so this one I have, 3 options as well. Of course, I want the Latin, not any of the other 2. So find the Latin, and then again, you have to click on the part at the end. So porto, okay, found our meaning. Carry, bear, convey, or bring. Carry is the best one here. So we found Verates carries the wreath again. And again, sometimes a big list will pop up if you type in a word like est. The website will be like, oh my gosh, there's like 50 different languages that have an EST in them as a word. And it will just give you all of them. You always want to find Latin. That's the class that we're doing. And I was wrong about this, but normally it won't give you names. So or if it does give you names, it will give you the meaning behind the name, not the name itself, like as a name. Obviously, when we turn Corinthus into English, it stays Corinthus. So this sentence here is Corinthus and Candidus are not working. Sorry, I didn't read it. I got ahead of myself. Corinthus and Candidus are not working, non laborant. Corinthus and Candidus are not working because they are working. They're worried. So likiti. Okay, so again, that is all about dictionaries for now, or the one dictionary, Wiktionary, that I want you guys to use. Please don't use other dictionaries. I'm giving you this one for a reason. I think it's the most simple to use. I gave a couple of others to like my higher grades, like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, when I gave them a choice. But there are some that are a little bit more complicated. There are some that if you type in like a special form, like if you typed in coronam instead of corona, the dictionary wouldn't know what to do. And that happens a lot in Latin. So this is the best one I think that you guys should use. That is all for now. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.